Hey guys, how's it going? So, this is a little recording from a league race that I had, the VSR I New York 125. This is my onboard for the last few laps. Pretty sure this was like 7 laps to go. Maybe even 10. I mean, this is a 10-minute long video, so maybe 10 laps or 9 laps, somewhere in there. Anyway, I'm behind Andrew Schwartz right now. Me and him were basically at the front of the field. I believe Kevin was in front of us as well, but he kind of got pushed off track. Stuff was going pretty wild, so this was after a pit stop, and Andrew came out in front of me because I pitted a lap later, but he was 0.5 in front of me. At this point, he's probably about 0.3, 0.2. And at this point, I started to really, figure out how to run the track, because I was faster, at the, main, front portion of the racetrack, up the S's. Basically, I would kind of fall apart coming out of the carousel, and I was trying to figure out why that was happening. And you can hear the gear differences here. I was staying in second, Andrew was staying in first out of turn 1, so he would get a good launch up the S's, but I could come back after the S's, but he blows up. And that's the second time he's blown up at a road course. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because he was shifting more than everybody else, and that's why the engine got, hotter than it technically should. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But now I have basically the lead whenever the gas portion of this race, circles out, because I think he was 6th and I was 7th at this point. So right now I'm 6th. And basically, I just gotta run fast as possible, catch as many cars as I can, pass them, and then try to get to the leader, maybe with 2 laps to go or so. So basically, this was full board. I had to go as fast as possible. And I think around about this lap, or maybe the next lap, I ran my fastest lap, which was a 1:11.0 on 7-lap-old tires. But that car right in front of me right now, I believe that's the 16. I can't really see, actually. At this point, everybody's trying to save gas in front of me. I'm the first car that doesn't have to save any gas. I can go as hard as possible. I can go as fast as I want. Basically, I need to catch everybody in front of me to have a chance to win. And, I mean, it kind of works out. There was a little bit of stuff that didn't work too well. See that blue car up in front of that yellow car? He needs to save gas. The white car in front of me also needs to save gas. So they're both saving gas right now. I'm going fucking hard. I need to catch them, and I need to get past them pretty quickly, or I'm going to lose time to the leader. And they're also going to be saving fuel. So if I see these two saving gas, they're definitely up front saving gas, and they're going to be saving gas more. But here's where I kind of ran into a little bit of a problem, because I was like, how am I going to get past them as fast as I can without having any problems here? Because, listen, I'm all about, look at how much fucking distance we made up just in the braking zone because of them having to basically let off earlier and coast into the corner on the clutch. But anyway, I need to figure out the easiest and quickest way I can get around them, and right here was a problem, because I was already having to slow down. Now I'm down to their pace. I was going way faster than this. I was more or less going even faster than that yellow car up ahead of them, but they're trying to battle it out. And right here, I almost made a mistake, because I expected them to go a little bit quicker, but then again, I needed to push them to go faster, because I needed to get around them. And nobody was giving me the inside here, because of course, if they think they can make it, then holding me up basically secures them a spot, so I'm not shitting on anybody. It was just a little bit more difficult than it needed to be to get around these people, but watch what I do right here. Around the outside, and it would have been awesome if I would have been able to dive it into the final corner, but that's not how that corner was. And then right about here, I made a mistake, because he left the inside open for me, but I just kind of, didn't... I mean, technically, he was still in the racing groove, and I love Tristan. Tristan is my babe. But if he would have went to the inside, I would have been able to keep my speed up and all that. Because he knew he had to save. Basically, when I got around the 16, the 27 knows, okay, he's coming. He's going to get around me in like 20 seconds or so, so I need to move. But he gave me the inside instead of just going to the inside and letting me come around the outside. He did what he could. I saw that he left the inside open, and I was like, well, you know, I need to get through to the outside so I can have the preferred line going into the corner where I can dive it all the way in. Because I basically learned halfway through this race, everybody was running the car really hard into the corners, especially these last two corners, turn 6 and turn 7. But watch how I run turn 6. I get right near the apex, gas it off as hard as I can, technically, and I swoop out as far as I can for 7 to get as close as I can to the apex in 7. And I noticed that that was gaining me a lot of time because I was shitting the bed at the end of the course. So I started doing, you know, basically trying to do over and unders to catch people. And it was gaining me a lot of time. I was running some of the fastest laps of the entire race at this point. I had clean air. I could go as hard as I want. I had the tires. They were starting to degrade at this point. See how I get up on this curb there? Because I was having to deal with everybody. But this car is out of gas. That car ran out of gas, so I immediately knew, okay, I can win this race if I have the fastest amount of time that I can make on this racetrack. So it basically became, okay, I see him running out, and that gave me some pretty good reassurance that, like, something was going to happen. I didn't know if anybody else in front of me was going to run out, but there was definitely a possibility of them running out. So if I go as hard as possible, and try to catch them, then I'm going to push them to their limit. They're probably going to run out of gas. So we're coming up on my boy, baby boy Frisch, and he did something interesting in this corner because look at how much he clutches. He starts clutching right about there, way before the braking zone, and look at the difference. That's the difference between saving and not saving. You can drive it that much quicker. They were probably running 113s, 114s. I was running 111s. So I could just go as hard as I want into every corner, but they have to, not only do they let off the gas, they're letting off the gas and then getting in the clutch way earlier than the braking zone actually is. However, I got past him. Now I'm in third place, basically. So I need to figure out how far ahead they were. I think at this point I looked at my relative, but this is a replay recording, so I can't really show you it. Or, yeah, this is a replay recording. Anyway, I looked at my relative to see how close they were. That's them up ahead. And you're going to see something interesting, which is probably the better call. The second car in line of those three is going to pit this lap, which is basically coming to the last lap. So he pits. He knows he can't make it. So there goes Ryan Williams down pit road in the 28. He goes down pit road. He knows he can't make it. He'd rather just be able to finish under power than run out of gas. So now you see the TV footage up in your top left, or top right, excuse me, fucking dumbass. But, so, there's two cars in front of me. The lead car right there is the one that I need to pass, and he's saving gas. If the second place car pit, then that means that he's running out of gas. So this guy up in front of me, look at how he lets the slow car on the inside, or technically the lap car, go, because he needs to save fuel. And Jake, at this point, starts going, because he's the leader. I'm in second place now. He needs to go as fast as possible for these last few corners now that I'm right here. And sadly, I got a little bit wide here, and I was trying so hard, I ran myself off the racetrack into the grass. But that doesn't matter, because I was still catching him. I was catching him by a lot, even when he was going hard. Like, look at how much I caught him just in this corner alone. And Tyler goes wide, let us race. And then right about here, the incredible fucking happens, and I screamed louder than I've ever screamed before. He runs out of gas right there. He starts sputtering, and I get to the line, and I win the race. And listen, I had absolutely no idea that I was going to be able to win this race. No idea. It was pretty incredible at the end of the race to be able to do this burnout right here that you're going to end up seeing. I screwed up the camera work for the replay, but I couldn't believe that I won at Watkins Glen. I'm not a good road racer, I don't think. Shit just happened to fall into my lap, and that's how I won the VSR New York 125. It was pretty awesome, man. I'm still stoked about it, and it's like a day later. Can't be happier.